Well, what I'd like to start very briefly is for you to all give your names and then talk about the theater and just briefly about what your vision for the theater is.
And which theater it is.
And which theater it is.
Hi, I'm Nandini, and I'm talking about the vision.
Yeah. The name, what you do in the group. And
okay. I'll start again. Hi, I'm Nandini, and I'm working with Yours Truly Theatre, and I am the artistic director, come trainer, come actor, conductor, and sweeper at times. And we make sure that we are doing all the activities. So we are doing all activities. I think the vision which we started off with, and it stays even now after 8 years, and I think which is going to continue, is that we want to do theatre which relates to people. And that was one of the main reasons where we started loving doing playback theatre and more interactive theatre, where we could bring them back to what we do. Secondly, we also feel very strongly about the fact that because television and cinema can almost do every kind of storytelling. So what is that theatre can bring, which cannot be copied, or the experience which cannot be remade into a film or a television. And I think something like interactive theatre totally breaks that boundary. None of the cinema, however big its budget it might be, it will not be able to capture the essence of pure improv movement, where audience feels connected with what is happening on stage. So I think that's our vision, is to do things and bring back people back to theatre and make them experience something which is great.
Hi, my name is Ranji David, and I'm the other artistic director of Yours Truly Theatre. I also act, direct and train actors along with conducting and other roles of different capacities. One of the visions when we started off Yours Truly Theatre almost around 8 years back in 2003 was to use the power of interactive theatre for transformational change and largely focus on interactive theatre. So over a period of time, since our roots are in playback, we began using interactive theatre in multiple occasions, not only just for shows where audiences come sit down and share, but also shows of national significance, national importance. Like we did Wake Up India, All You Need Is Love. Some of the shows were intended to bring out those aspects that we felt that only theatre can bring out. And in many ways, interactive theatre that we use is also to try and use interactive theatre where people get a forum to speak, people get a forum to share not only their feelings, opinions, thought, but also their stories, which are so critical and important. And one of the format that we also perform is also called Computer Story. We actually we actually do a story which is rehearsed, and then we pause it at a very crucial point where there is no solution for the protagonist. Then we ask the audience to really end the story. And before they end, we kind of ask the audience, what do you think we should do in this kind of situation? It could be a boy who's lost in a city, and we would ask the children, how do you think they should handle the situation? And when they get into discussions, that's where the actual answers come out. And then slowly, as they start answering this, we start picking up those incidents and start stitching them up. And then form that into a layer in a story that could fit as an ending, and then throw it back to the actors. And of course the actors play it out as per whatever the audiences are told. So this is one format. There is another format called Mushaira Theatre. In Mushaira, we primarily ask the audience to share a poetry from their life, and we pick up that poetry and make that into a play on the spot. And the actors talk to each other in poetry, which is created on the spot as well. So in many ways, not only are we going back to roots, not only are we giving audiences a chance to speak, but also sometimes we are creating newer interactive formats which can relate to audience, which can connect to the audience. And for the greater goodness of the community of actors that we have in the company, Yours Truly Theatre, We also invite, we have a concept of outside knowledge. We invite external people to come and do workshops for us. Sometimes these workshops are new, sometimes these workshops are intended to go back to the roots. In many ways, sometimes a company can get into a situation that they feel they're like frogs in a well and feel they're doing the right thing in the right place. But it's also important for us to get people from the outside to get a perspective of what it is and how it is, especially formats that have been done outside India. So one of the reasons why we also asked Janine and Michael to come over is also because we want to get perspectives. We really want to get perspectives, feedbacks, everything possible that will now take us maybe to the next level. I could really go on. I really want
Hi, I'm Sumit. I joined Yours almost like 5 years back, and I have been an actor, I've been a volunteer and all the different roles on the backstage, and also slowly directing small pieces for the new workshop participants. So just trying to get into that role of wearing the hat of director, understanding the complexities of handling the actors and coming up with creative ideas which can be implemented by the other actors, not by yourself on the spot. The thing is that I love being spontaneous. During my office hours, during my personal life, during at home also, find spontaneity there also. So the same thing I love in playback theatre, which is like totally spontaneous. The ideas, the creativity, the teamwork, and the nuances involved in that. And apart from that, I like to be on the stage, to be very honest. So I love, whether it's a small role, whether it's a big role, whether it's a tree, whether it's anything, I like to be there on the stage to give whatever I can, my 100% for that particular moment on the stage. But the thing is that for the past 5 years, that love to do theatre, love to be on the stage. But apart from that, I find a way where actually I am getting opportunity to use what I love to do to contribute in a transformational work. Whatever we just talked about is like bringing a change in the society. We really can't say that we brought a great change in the society, but actually spreading the awareness. It might be related to the political awareness, it might be related to the social, might be going to the NGOs and performing for the kids who they don't have parents, they don't have good facilities. So spending few hours entertaining them, interacting with them. So that gives a totally different feel. Apart from being there on the stage and fulfilling the desire of theatre, the desire to do the theatre. But the second part is actually using what you like, what you love, the passion, in changing something and contributing to the society. So the journey started as being there on the stage, I want to do, and then slowly it is towards I want to contribute, I want to do in the society, giving it back. And the third thing is that here in YT we get to explore. As Ranjit talked about the experimental work, it's interactive work. So there are no boundaries, there are not specific rules. If you can't explore, you can't do this, you can't do that. Even if it's a rehearsed piece, like we talked about the CTS, the complete the story, how we come up is like totally improvised scenarios where we actually explore, we try different new things. Sometimes the new things comes up and becomes like this. For example, Ranjit talked about Mushaira Theatre. It's an in-house development. We discussed, we evolved it, now it has become an interactive format. And one of the great feedback that we got, it's a kind of another level of playback theatre. So that gives a freedom to explore and to learn and to jam up with a different kind of minds here. So that's what, I don't know, it's a vision or whatnot, but that's what my experience.
Hi, this is Vishal, and I'm an actor at Yours Theatre, and also I've taken up other roles as well, such as documenter, editor, sometimes volunteer. And I try to get as much as opportunities for me to be a part of Yours Theatre. Yoshri Theatre is a place where I was first introduced to playback, and absolutely was like stunned, and I was completely. I have actually no words to say. In fact, I mean, I don't find the right words to say as to the feeling I felt when I was introduced to playback theatre. I had just seen a couple of shows of Yoshri Theatre playback, and I really didn't know whether I was able to do it. And with the guidance of Ranji and Nandini and the different methods of playback theatre, I think I slowly got initiated into playback theatre. And what I would like to say about playback theatre and yours today is a small thing about my childhood, where I was. I'm a kid who listens to stories, and I just love stories. And love to go to my grandma and sit with her and listen to all the stories. But then it stopped for a while. After I grew up, we would not listen to any stories. And then the tradition of storytelling just vanished. Then when I came to Yoshri Theatre and I was introduced to playback theatre, I suddenly became a kid. I turned myself, and I saw myself as a kid learning to listen to stories, to understand stories, to value stories, and not just listen to them and just forget them, but also to give perspectives, to enact it out, and give a form to it, a story, give a form to the verbal story. I think playback does that, and I'm very grateful to Yoshri Theatre for that. And as far as today's workshop, the two-day workshop which we had, gave me a larger picture of the entire scenario of playback and how the history of it, the rituals, the form, and the possibilities of where we could explore, and how it affects the general population, and on a community based, and how it enriches the community as a whole, and it becomes an organism of its own and evolves through those storytelling and sharing of those stories. And I think without playback, I guess those untold stories would not have come out of these people. They would have just disappeared out of time and nobody would have heard it. So I think it's a very good experience of having a workshop.
Thanks.